What are we close to here? Are we close to our 1 year anniversary, or are we close to 1,000 subs?
It's all a perception thing. You're as close as you perceive you are.
That's right. We're closer to 1,000 than we are to 50,000.
Yeah, either way, we're zeroing in on it because we're at episode number 30, Ben.
Heck yeah, 30.
30. Man, I cannot believe that. We're at episode number 30, and I feel like this is a good one for that. ArcadeLand, episode number 30, MetaMentors. Let's watch a little video. ArcadeLand.com, the second arcade that we're covering. Ben, there are 3.2 billion gamers in the world, and less than 1% of them are playing crypto games or Web3 games. ArcadeLand, that's their goal, is to change that, to onboard 3.2 million plus gamers.
Billion.
3.2 billion plus gamers, or a large portion of them, into crypto gaming, into blockchain gaming, because they believe, just like we do, blockchain is the future, whether it's gaming, whether it's currency, whether it's decentralized finance, it doesn't matter. But gaming, out of all of those areas, appears to be the same. And ArcadeLand.com and their team is attacking it through something that, to me, the simplicity of what they're doing, I absolutely love about this project. I'm guessing behind the scenes, it isn't that simple. But for us as you know, a gamer or somebody that's interested in blockchain, Web3, crypto, all that stuff, the onboarding is very simple. And we talk a lot about that. Getting people a bridge to come from the world that they know, the Web2 world, the day-to-day that they know, into Web3. And this project is, to me, is simplifying that and making it fun along the way. But I'm already getting excited, starting to go down that road. Let me stop myself. If you're watching this channel, this episode might get a little bit long. We're going to put links and timestamps down below so that you can fast forward or jump around, whatever you want to do. We hope you stay for the whole episode. It's going to be jam-packed full of stuff, but if you need to jump around a little bit, please check out those links.
Nothing we say on this channel is financial advice. Do your own research. For the news, Ryan sent me this the other day. Mastercard will be helping banks offer cryptocurrency trading. If you're wondering why they need a middleman in an industry where we're trying to eliminate the middleman, it's that because without regulation right now, banks cannot legally offer certain services to their customers. With the securities, with the stuff we're always going over, with the legality of investing in cryptocurrencies, Mastercard is willing to take that risk now, going from a competitor and an outspoken, not advocate, what's the opposite of a critic of the crypto market. Mastercard is now playing ball and they want a big piece of it. So they are taking the regulations and the legal side out of it for the banks and allowing the banks to offer these products through Mastercard. The bank gets their piece, Mastercard gets their piece, and the customers get what they want, which is exposure to Web3 and cryptocurrency projects like Ethereum and Bitcoin mostly. But we'll post the link to this article down below. There's a ton of articles on this specific thing. This is big news because
Huge.
Mastercard deals with a lot of different banks. They offer their services. Any debit card or credit card you have that's issued from Mastercard through any bank, those are the banks that they're trying to reach out. That's grabbing a whole lot of people that have nothing to do with crypto or don't have access to crypto, now giving them a way to invest, hold, store, and stake these crypto projects. So I believe it's through Paxos is the company that MasterCard uses. But like I said, the banks with their regulation, they're not allowed to offer certain investable vehicles. And crypto is a big one, especially ones that, are classified as securities, not commodities. So MasterCard's taking that. That's huge. Ryan and I always talk about how big it is when these big companies are changing their minds about cryptocurrency, and not just changing their minds, but then jumping in feet first. So here it lists a couple of the investment banks that have crypto teams: Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan. If you're familiar with anything in the banking world, those are three big ones. So,
not even regulated yet. The news out there is everybody's like, oh, that crypto thing is down 80%. You better just stay clear. Not good. And then you've got companies like this that are, they've been behind the scenes doing this stuff and not talking about it. Well, they're talking about it now. That's how close we're getting.
Yeah, JP Morgan was famous for actively telling all their employees to basically downplay Bitcoin. It was the next great scam. It was going to rip people off while they were onboarding crypto in the down market. They were actually putting Bitcoin onto their sheets while they were saying to all of their customers, you don't want any part of this. So they have been familiar with the industry for a long time. There's just a lot of things because of the SEC and because of regulations that they're not allowed to do publicly or offer to their customers. And MasterCard is going to be helping with that. So MasterCard and big banks coming together to dip their toes in crypto. Like Kevin O'Leary always says, that's when we're going to really get the big investments. Like what we think is a big investment into the Web3 industry right now is nothing compared to what will happen once regulation opens it up and allows real money to start flowing in, real institutional money and like sovereign wealth funds and big money accounts being able to invest in this. So that's always a positive. And that just happened, or, it was just really announced this week, some of the different partnerships that are going through. And speaking of big companies coming into the industry, I know we've talked about Walmart before because I think Walmart has like two different metaverse projects in Roblox. I think they have like the Universe of Play and Walmart Land, where they have just different games and you can go in and kind of like preview products and buy real world products. I think both of those are in Roblox, but they're getting even bigger now. Their CTO is talking about how crypto is going to be a major part of their business going forward. And it just goes in and he's talking about the ways they'll use it for payments, for subscriptions, for buying online, as well as he's talking about several more metaverse projects where you'll be able to go into a digital Walmart, going to a virtual Walmart, and do your shopping in there and actually be able to pick up, look at items, see items, talk with somebody at the store virtually who can help you, with if you're buying electronics, if that's what you're looking for. He's just very bullish and very positive that crypto is going to play a big part in Walmart's future. And Walmart, obviously a big company, and actually I saw that it makes more revenue than any other company in the world. It's $570 billion in annual revenue, and it's brought in the most revenue out of any company for the last 10 years. So if you're looking for big companies who are in, if you're trying to justify to yourself to get into crypto or to start looking at the Web3 space, and you're like, well, I need some more big companies to get it. There is no one bigger revenue-wise than Walmart. And that's retail, that's auto, pharmacy, health, you know what I mean? Like
the biggest
food,
company,
everything.
period,
Yeah, they do
revenue-wise.
everything. They do everything. And they're going to start incorporating crypto and metaverse style projects into their retail sales. So that should be enough if you were on the fence to push you over. But I don't know if you've watched any other episode on here. I don't know how you haven't already decided this is what you're into. But I always like, especially in a bear market, to get some news like this, to hear something from somewhere like a Walmart, of just be like, oh, you know, this isn't dead. No, this is when we're doing all the figuring out what we're going to use. You know what I mean? In this bear market, they're like, perfect. While no one's paying attention and it's not going crazy, they can figure out what blockchain they want to use, what metaverse project they're going to be joining into. And yeah, that's just huge. So he also was talking about once they start putting stuff on the blockchain, not only will they use crypto for payments, but they'll have customer histories and be able, you know, which is what everybody wants, the data, you know, like when you buy something and then Facebook says, actually, you might like this also. They were talking about the benefits of that. If they had customer histories and they knew what kind of stuff you would normally bought, then they could start suggesting stuff. And so obviously the advertising dollar for something like that is a very valuable.
Yeah.
That's what these companies want. So
yeah, again, we're falling right back onto the technology. I mean, the headline is they're going to start accepting cryptocurrency. It's the tech that's driving all of these companies to come on board for multiple reasons.
Right.
Not just for the current, not just because the currency sank, for like it's revolutionizing Walmart.
Right.
Like I think they probably got a pretty good idea about how to run their business. And this is revolutionizing Starbucks, Walmart, Disney.
Right. And actually Walmart's been using not just metaverse, not just advertising, not just retail, but they've actually been using the blockchain for a while now for their own inventories and stuff like that. Like they've started to put everything they're doing on a blockchain. So they're familiar with the technology. They see the benefit in it. They're actively using it, and they're trying to figure out how to actively use it to incorporate more customers and make a frictionless shopping experience. So,
I mean, and just tell me if I'm an idiot, tell me this.
You're an idiot.
Well, you tell me all the time. I mean it this time.
I'll let you finish before I say it.
Cryptocurrency is not regulated. It's not approved by government officials. It is not regulated. It's not approved. It's not been deemed safe for the most part. And you got companies like Walmart that are coming out and saying, cryptocurrency is going to be, are there not freaking alarm bells going off in your head that like, if they're like, it's not even regulated yet, and companies as big as Walmart, the biggest, is saying this technology is so advanced, so strong, we're not waiting around for regulation. We're going to go ahead and put it out there that, hey, we're going to be using cryptocurrency, like alarm bells.
Yeah, I actually, the last part of this deal, the last part of this article, it also talks about having 200 different Bitcoin ATMs Bitcoin machines in these 200 different Walmart stores, and plans to put 8,000 more sometime in the future. So those are the ATMs that you can just go right up, deposit cash, and get a Bitcode or Bitcoin address and deposit in your account, or you can just store it on the piece of paper, or you can memorize it, or you can put it in your lockbox, but you're actually able to turn cash into Bitcoin or withdraw cash from your Bitcoin account. That's huge because that's person to person. Obviously, the literal foot traffic that goes in and out of Walmart in a day, in order to get $570 billion of revenue a year, you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. So having these Bitcoin, even if all it does is every time grandma goes to Walmart, she sees Bitcoin, you know what I mean? It just makes it that much easier to understand when they say, oh, if you would like to buy a Bitcoin or pay in Bitcoin or accept Bitcoin, you know what I mean? If all it's doing is just getting more people to see it, it's worth all the
Exposure.
trouble it's going into. Yeah, the exposure for it. So thought that was pretty cool. Also, I was reading on Milk Road. I know I've talked about Milk Road before. It's a very good Web3 newsletter. It's kind of like just a quick, up-to-date, like what's happening. They called it Trademark Tuesday, and they were talking about right now, this last week. Actually, hold on, I got it right here. In September alone, there were 40 Web3 trademarks filed for every single day. On average, 40 Web3 trademarks every day in September. And that's from major companies and industries. It was like Formula One filed 8 trademarks, including one for crypto mining. Del Monte Foods, which is a huge, huge food. I mean, like, not like a specialty food, like Del Monte is everywhere. It's in restaurants and cafeterias and stores. They filed 8 trademarks, including one for an online virtual restaurant. Speaking of restaurants, In-N-Out Burger filed 4 trademarks that included an entire virtual environment, which sounds a lot like a metaverse, for recreational, leisure, and entertainment services. And my favorite one, Kraft filed trademarks for their iconic hot dog shaped Wienermobile. They filed 4 trademarks that cover NFTs, virtual foods and drinks, and a virtual restaurant. So
I bet you didn't see that driving around the streets of England, did you?
I didn't. I never did see an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, but I was thinking that is so iconic. That's one of those things. That's like the arcade games that we're getting ready to go over today. That instantly brings people from non-Web3 industries into Web3. I mean, like, if you ever had a weenie whistle or, grew up looking for the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile,
I had
what I mean?
One.
Oh yeah. I don't know if I ever did, but I'm very familiar with it. And it's like the biggest punch buggy game of all time. Whenever you're road tripping and you see an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, like that's like the unicorn, you know what I mean? Everybody points it out. If you can get a picture with it, it's awesome. And so they filed some patents to make some NFTs with that shape. And I just think that's super cool. That's Kraft. I mean, we're talking Kraft, Del Monte, In-N-Out, and Formula One Racing. They've all filed patents in September alone, for Web3 stuff. It's happening. It's happening. I don't know how we're in a bear market. I don't even know how that is working. Even, rest of the economy aside, I don't know how this industry is in a bear market.
Oh, man, we have talked about this so much that in Raul Paul, everybody's talking about it. Anybody that is following this is talking about it. We've talked about it numerous times. At some point, crypto Web3 is going to detach from the rest of the market. Right now, it's being affected emotionally because the financial markets are being affected. So it's being pulled down with it. But the volume and the usage and the technology, as the market's being pulled down, it's just, and at some point, and maybe it's regulation. I believe it's before that. Although every day that goes by, I believe regulation is getting advanced faster and faster and faster. But at some point, people wake up and they're like, "Hey, did you hear Walmart and this and that?" And like it detaches, and then all of a sudden, people are like, "Oh shit, cryptocurrency isn't a currency just like the rest of the finance that's affected." Right. It's completely, everything is being driven by emotions right now, and the people that know are idiots like me that are losing their shit on YouTube channels, or maybe not, but because we see what is happening, and it's like, right. How are we in a bear market, like you said?
Right. It's happening so fast that we're like running around trying to get our hands on any of it because everybody's doing it. Like it's not like a small industry. It's not like just games or just food or just advertising. It's like everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh, look at these games over here. And then you turn around behind you and the banking industry is getting revolutionized. And you start going this way. And then it's like, well, every restaurant has a virtual menu and a virtual, you know what I mean? And and they're doing collectibles, and they're doing finance and mortgages and relationships. You know what I mean? It's going to be everything. It's just, what are you interested in? If you look up what you're interested in and Web3, if you Google those together, I bet you there's some projects that have connected them already.
100%.
But specifically, if you're into games, which Ryan and I are, we've obviously done a couple of different arcade themed projects. This is ArcadeLand.com. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Ryan kind of introduced you to it a little bit at the beginning of the video. ArcadeLand.com is what we're talking about today. Ryan, you want to give us the backstory on it?
Yeah, so here's the story, and a little bit of the background on it is essentially, and it's almost the same story. Guy or gal is out doing their day-to-day stuff, comes across some part of Web3, whether it's crypto, whether it's NFTs, whether it's blockchain, whatever it is. And then from that moment on, everything in the past does not matter. It doesn't, kind of like me with my real estate business. I'm just moving along in my real estate business, come across blockchains and the connection, and immediately all that I've done in the past is scrapped, essentially. Everything is scrapped. I am moving 100% in this direction from this moment on. Same thing with this. You have a team. The main founder is a guy named Tim Kingery, and he's involved in technology. He's doing consulting. By all stretches of the imagination, a successful guy comes across 17 and knows immediately, this is where I'm going to spend the foreseeable future or the rest of my life, in it, developing and learning about consulting, and they start heading down that road. So I'm just going to read some of this stuff. So this is from their light paper, ArcadeLand.com. We believe in a future that is more fair, inclusive, accessible, and where the benefits of blockchain can be leveraged without the pitfalls common in the nascent industry. Okay, I thought we were talking about video games here. What is this about? Improving fair, inclusive, accessible. But okay, we have designed our ecosystem from the ground up with the goals in mind to set the example and the new standards for the Web3 game industry. That's some big words there. What's their values? Hey, remember this last episode we talked about having core values as a company. Here's a guy that was in mainstream America business, tech business, comes over. He believes in having values. Good sign, far as I'm concerned. Customer commitment, continuous improvement, innovation, teamwork, positivity. Those all seem like really good values to have, whether it's a company or in life or whatever. Here's where it starts getting more interesting. We are maximizing the benefits of blockchain to create value where none existed before, to help the world become a better place. So these guys, this team, here's Tim here, and the team that he's put together, which did a little research on, because I'm in, these, not being involved in Web3 and gaming prior to this, I don't recognize a lot of these names. Maybe these are household names to people that have been involved in this industry for a while. I'm still just under a year in. So I go in and research on some of these names, and almost every one of these are, huge names or outliers or entrepreneurs within the tech industry that have done all these things, a lot of things on their own, built their own companies and stuff like that are now coming on board here, or they're advising, just a really cool team, not a huge team. I say, there's, what is that? 10 of them here. That's a pretty good sized team. When, we've been looking at teams that are 30, 40, 50, 200 plus. The size is not as important as what the actual team is obviously bringing to the project, which a lot of that comes from experience, right? So I'm rambling a bit here, but essentially Tim comes up with this idea, or at least initially they start heading in this direction. And basically he identifies something that we're hearing a lot about. The metaverse, the goal of the metaverse is to be interoperability. We've talked about it a bunch. You don't want to be stuck on one metaverse. He also believes that gaming is the biggest onboard for Web3, crypto, blockchain. So that's where he wants to spend his time. He realizes that blockchain and Web3 and play to earn gaming is extremely cumbersome still. And there's a lot of risks involved with it. So they basically come up with this idea. Why don't we take all these games, these great iconic games, that we've had since video games started, became available, the 70s, 80s, whatever it is. You saw the video I played at the beginning. Why don't we onboard these classic games, get these, these owners of these classic games, these big names, to bring these Web 2 games, a lot of them that have been forgotten, bring them to our platform and make them accessible again, along with bringing on Web 3 crypto gaming. And so you as a gamer, or you as a developer, you as this game owner can basically reignite your games, these classic games, reignite them to a whole new audience. And oh, by the way, they can be converted into play to earn games now. So you take some of these classic games that have been long forgotten because all, technology and graphics and all this stuff that's, bypassed them by, years and years and years. And giving a whole new generation or people like me that haven't played these games in 20, 25 years, bringing them back to life and giving them the option to actually make crypto playing these games and playing some of these Web3 games. So what better onboarding, what better opportunity to bring 3.2 billion gamers, which is a super small fraction of them, less than 1% play crypto gaming. What a good way to bring them into crypto gaming by reigniting these games that they grew up on, introducing them to Web3, the crypto world, the being able to pay to earn, the blockchain. And that is what this project's doing. So something that in theory is very simple. Now behind the scenes, it's probably, I'm guessing, very complex. Maybe it's not as complex, but it's a simple strategy. It makes sense. You want to have interoperability. You want to onboard people that are not familiar with Web3 or are scared of it, onboard them into this world through a way that they're comfortable with, that's easy to access. They're doing that. They're giving the owners of these games, like you talked about last week, which I'm sure you're going to flash some up because you can't help yourself. Simpsons, some of these classic games, you got immediate name recognition, and yeah, there you go. And you're going to be able to play these games as like you did growing up, and actually be able to make some cryptocurrency doing it, along with hanging out with your friends and reigniting some of this cool stuff. So here's their approach: easy UI, best games, interoperable metaverse. Very simple. Just a very simple concept. Remove the barriers and negative aspects to enable full participation in the ecosystem for Web 2 users, while also enabling Web 3 users to opt in, perform more advanced functions.
This kind of goes into the gameplay that I'll talk about here in a little bit, but I don't know if Ryan, I don't think you were going to show this. Maybe you were, and if so, I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes here.
Probably not. Go ahead.
But this right here is what it takes to play a game like Axie, a typical Web3 game. This is what they're talking about when they're talking about barriers of entry to Web3 projects and Web3 gaming. These are all the steps of what it takes. Create a Binance account, install MetaMask, create a Ronin account, buy Ethereum on Binance, then transfer it, then deposit it to Ronin. Then you can play Axie Infinity with that money. You can earn SLP, but then you can download, let's see. After you buy your Axies, you connect to the marketplace. You are buying and selling your Axies. Then you withdraw your earnings to Ronin. Then you move it to MetaMask, send it to Binance, convert it to PHP, and then you actually have something to show for the games that you played and that you played to earn. And what they're talking about is you'll be able to go to this website, sign up, and actually they have like social media sign up. So you can sign up through Facebook or through Google. It'll be super easy. You'll just say, oh, is this your Google account? Yep. And then you can play. You don't have any of this other stuff. You can be playing arcade games like that with 1 or 2 steps. If you want later on, you can kind of venture into the Web3 part of it. But the barriers of entry that they're talking about, if you're in the Web3 space, you might have forgotten how hard it is to get set up and ready to go just to be able to get into a project like this. Once you have your MetaMask, once you have your wallet set up, once you're familiar with what it takes, it's not that hard. But to bring somebody new in and be like, hey, do you remember the Simpsons arcade game? You can play it online now. Oh, perfect. I'll go check it out. Well, there's actually 40 steps before you get there. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. So one of the ways to onboard these new players to be an on-ramp for Web 2 to Web 3 is they're eliminating all of that. You can come on to ArcadeLand.com and start playing classic arcade games very quickly. And they use PayPal if you're going to buy stuff, or if you're going to subscribe, or if you're going to have any sort of a season pass. They use PayPal, which uses credit cards, fiat. I think PayPal owns either Venmo or Cash App, but they make it super easy to come in and start playing these games. And then they also have Web3 games and a Web3, like a Metaverse headquarters, where you can actually start going in and, dipping your toes into Web3 and eventually going all in and getting to benefit from all the way more opportunity that Web3 gaming presents over Web 2. But as far as onboarding it, the big thing that they're talking about is removing the barriers of entry to get more of those 3.2 billion gamers into Web3. Sorry if I stepped on your toes there.
Simplicity.
Yes.
No. That I appreciate it. That was perfect. And to reiterate, kind of like you were just saying, you got Web 2, you have all these AAA classic games along with games that are not AAA, but just, there's a reason that there's 3.2 roughly billion gamers that played games last year, because there's tons to choose from. No matter what you're into, it's out there. So you've got all these games that are essentially almost being left behind as we go into the Web3 era of gaming and play to earn gaming. And ArcadeLand they're saying, let's not leave those behind. Let's bring those with us. We've got this platform. We've got an ecosystem. We're building a metaverse. We can have all these games. You can play these games. It's a good source that you can come on and play these games just like you always have as Web 2. Or if you choose, you can play pay to earn versions of it too. So they're offering, that again, it's just that on ramp, like you said, which makes the ultimate gaming metaverse. And so I wanted to, let me jump back to this team real quick. I'm just going to hit, because some of it, as I dove into some, I don't want to spend any more time here, but you had over 50, some of these games that these guys have been involved with, or head creators, had over 50 million downloads. I don't know if you saw Mr. Tyler Bushnell here, his background, and him in his own right, this guy is a stud, but son of Nolan Bushnell from Atari and Chuck E. Cheese founder.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Yeah. So he's one of the advisors for this group. And again, impressive resume for saying a lot. Impressive resume from this guy and a lot of these others. So some real strength in the team here.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago on the trivia channel that I found out that the guy who created Atari, the money he made from Atari, he bought, it was called like, I'm going to mess the name up, Happy Time Pizza or whatever, but he's the guy who then went on and turned that pizza place into Chuck E. Cheese, which is obviously the user-friendly arcade-based pizza place that's worldwide. But what a better guy to have the knowledge of classic, cool, retro arcades than somebody from the family of Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I mean? And Atari. I mean, that's who you want on this project. Even as a consultant, even if it's a guy who shows up once a week and says, yes, that's a good get. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's
I know what a
somebody you
good
want.
time. I know what a good time looks like. Yeah.
Right. That's somebody you want on speed dial.
That's what makes up, when you're talking about the story of these projects, that's part of the story. Those are the things you're looking for. Is there more than just, is there more than just somebody that says, hey, let's give this a try? You have somebody that has a history. You have people involved with a history of this stuff. It made me think of my oldest kids growing up. There was this show called Robots on it. And in that show, I remember this vividly. They're saying in that show was see a need, feel a need. This project completely reminds me. I think it's the essence of that. They notice that, hey, we're in blockchain. How do we get more onboarded onto this project? And they came up with this idea, and they're moving full steam ahead on it. And the simplicity of it is very attractive to me. The story, the simplicity, the team they've got behind it. I like it. I like that. I'm very excited. And it's another young project. And as you know, we had a brief conversation. I had a brief conversation with the CEO, and they've got some massive announcements that are coming out next week that he is going to make us privy to. So we're going to be, or you will be meeting with him next week.
We're hoping nothing's finalized yet.
Oh no, I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out in the universe.
Putting it in the universe. Okay.
So we're working on that, but so we might be just like we're at the cusp of the explosion of Web3. We're at the cusp of the explosion of ArcadeLand and all they've got going on. So really excited about that also. But the project just seems very well rounded. Again, it's being put together by somebody that's coming with a business acumen that I think helps out tremendously. I've said enough. This white paper, there is so much good stuff in this white paper that they've got laid out, talking about, what their goal is, what the numbers are telling them, special unique features about what they're doing. Here's a little graphic of comparing them against Steam, Decentraland Sandbox, and Roblox. And so they get into some information here about, platforms like Steam and Roblox represent like the Web 2 version, although Roblox is blending into Web 3, and then Decentraland and obviously Sandbox represent the Web 3 world. So these are always kind of helpful, just to kind of let you know. Here's another big thing that we look for is mobile gaming. Obviously, that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
so,
as far as trying to get people's butts in the seats right now, mobile gaming's the way to do it.
Yep. That is pretty much what I've got. There was a bunch of other really good stuff in here that we could get into, but I don't think I'd be doing it justice, and I'd be just reading straight from the website. So
right.
You kind of already jumped into some of the gaming and strategy. So let's go back into some of that.
Very rarely would I, usually we go through these white papers, and this one's called the light paper. Same thing. We go through these project reports on the overall, here's what we're doing, and we try to pick out the good stuff and then show you here on the channel of what this project has to offer. This is one of the few projects that I would feel totally comfortable. We'll put the link down below. Go to this website, look at their light paper. The whole thing's interesting. And it's not just a whole bunch of technical jargon. It's very well put together. It's very easy to read. It's graphic. They've got all the infographics, which everybody knows Ryan loves infographics. It shows everything very clearly. It's a great page for a project that's not out yet, for a coin that's not out yet, for something that has not launched yet. They are very on the ball. They have a lot of information on this project put together, and it's arranged great in the white paper. So that's where we're getting a lot of this information, because they don't have a huge channel on YouTube yet. I assume this is coming. We talk about this quite a bit. This is the kind of project that maybe we're always looking for, is it sure seems like it's going to be really good. And I think at the start of the day, they had 6 subscribers on their YouTube channel, and now they have 8. So, so they've gone up 25%, 25%. Yeah.
Yeah.
33%. I'm sorry. 33% increase. Anyways, so they don't have a huge presence on YouTube, which means it's probably an undiscovered gem. As they start to roll out some of these phases of their roadmap, I assume it's going to get much more popular. They do have a very good Reddit, Discord, and what was the other one? Medium. On Medium, they have a good presence out there on the internet. We were able to find a lot of this stuff, but their light paper is really thorough. It's really well done. So anything that we're not going to go over, when Ryan says, "Oh, I don't want to just read it," it actually would. It's very interesting. You should go and read it because there's a lot of information, but it's not overwhelming information. They just lay it out. Hey, this is what we're doing.
And straight to the point too. Like you said, not a lot of excess. It's just like, here's what we see. Here's what we're doing. Here's the problems we're wanting to solve. And we got work to do type. So they're right back on it, which I don't think either of us have mentioned this, and maybe we did, but because I feel like an idiot, but they've already, last I saw, they'd already onboarded 168 of, no, it's at least that, I think, right?
It's 187.
Okay, thank you.
Here, let me just jump over. I'll just show you what I've got right here. According to their official website, 187 plus games. Now, I've looked for the game list. I can't find a game list. They've got game partners down here. They've got some of the titles, some of the stuff, but they don't have a game list. If you go to their blog, which we'll have a link to it, or you can just go to ArcadeLand.com. On their blog, they do a very good job of updating every time they partner with one of these new companies or they onboard a new game. They're bringing them in 1 a week, 2 a week. They're bringing them in. They don't have a full list of them, but you can just scroll back through the last weeks and months, and you can just see, oh, hey, we've partnered with this studio. We partnered with this game. We're bringing these guys on. So they have a ton. I'm sure they'll eventually have an actual game list of this stuff. I know it was last week, I believe, that we showed that they had
Simpsons.
Yeah, the Simpsons.
Yep. Which had just happened that day. Yeah. And you're on Twitter. Twitter seems to be they're very active on Twitter. And like you said, every time they onboard or have a new partnership, it's going up, which is, it seems like, it's multiple times a week. It seems like now.
Yeah. Which is what you want. I mean, their whole thing is going to be basically an arcade online. So the more games they get, the better. Before we get going anymore, I just wanted to, Ryan, I noticed you were wearing a KU hat, and I didn't want to offend you. Should I wear this 5-1 team hat, or should I wear this 5-1 team? I don't want to offend you because I know your Kansas City Chiefs are 4-2, and your KU team is also, they're 5-2. They played an extra.
Yeah. What do I have? What do I have to be mad about? We got 5 wins on our books for the football team this year.
You've lost twice as many as K-State, though.
Yeah, it's just always second rate to K-State, but at least we don't have to listen to Sandstorm every time we go to the stadium. But
I love Sandstorm. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
to the Octagon of Doom.
You would.
Anyways, so I didn't know if you want me to switch to this one before I do games, I will. But if not, we'll just move on with Buffalo Bills beating the Chiefs this week.
Whatever helps you perform better, because I feel like I've been pulling this show along from day one. So whatever hat you need to wear.
You're like the Patrick Mahomes, and your time is over. And I'm like the Josh Allen of the Metaverse. So I'll take over from this point, and I will take this channel to the Super Bowl and win it. This is the year.
Outstanding. As we hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, right. That's going to probably get us right there. We got a live ticker somewhere? Oh, nope. Still at 47.
Good question. So close.
So I'm going to get in and talk a little bit about the games in here. We can't really talk about the gameplay because the gameplay is going to vary with every 187, different games. We saw the preview that they had on their YouTube channel that scrolled through a ton of arcade. I would imagine everything that you saw there is a game that's going to be on this website, or at least a game that they're pursuing on this website. So it was everything from Mortal Kombat to they had racing games, they had all sorts of stuff. It looked like they did have a Cruise in America or Cruise in Exotica, but they're going to have their own games. They're going to bring in these other games. They've got 187 right now before launching, and like Ryan said, they're bringing them on every week. So picture this project like an arcade in the mall. This is when I was trying to figure out how they're That's all right. Sorry. No, that's all right. Yeah, dang, everything back from Ball Breaker and Pong, Asteroids. Yeah, there's so many. So picture this project as being an arcade in the mall. And the arcade, the guy who owns the arcade, isn't creating the game. He doesn't have time to sit down and spend 2 years with the team to come up with the best possible arcade game. He is making the best possible arcade experience. He's got a wall of prizes available for tickets. He knows how to arrange the games. He knows how to get the customers in to play the games. That's what this project is doing. They're not the game creator. They are the game promoter, the game
assembler.
Yeah, the headquarters for the whole gaming party. You go to this place to play every project, every company's great game. Mortal Kombat, which took years to make, and has had just so many different variants and stuff, sequels and stuff. That game sits right next to Excitebike or Asteroids or Time Crisis. And it's like each one of those required its own team, its own illustrators, its own design, its own coding. All of these projects are being brought together, assembled by ArcadeLand, the Metaverse project, and they're not slow. They're obviously not slowing down, but it's. I don't know how many games they're going to end up having. They did not go into detail. I assume because it's open-ended. I assume they don't have a number like, okay, once we hit 200, we're stopping.
Yeah, why would you?
They're bringing in as many as possible. I assume their space, their ability is going to be endless because they're going to be able to arrange it. This is why it's better in the metaverse than in the actual mall, because for 187 arcade games, if you were going to rent that space in the mall, one, you'd run out of space real quick, and two, it'd be super expensive. But in the metaverse, you have access to all these different games. You can go, if you're like, well, I'm not sure what game I want to play, but I want to go find some first-person shooters or some racing games or some of this or some redemption games. They're going to have not just the games that you play for fun. They're going to have, I'll get more into it later, they're going to have the ability to win basically a cryptocurrency called tickets. And you'll be able to take your tickets to the prize center and win digital prizes, subscriptions, season passes, real prizes, real world stuff, clothing, hats, sweaters, grand prizes. I think they had a Tesla truck was the grand prize for one of these, either the games or for the most tickets.
Yeah.
So
esports involvement, tournaments.
Yeah, they're going to have the whole gamut of gameplay. You're going to be able to go in and just play. Hopefully you'll have some mobile activity. You'll be able to play on your phone. You're goofing around. You're collecting tickets. You're saving tickets. And then eventually you cash them in for prizes. You'll win extra tickets for, tournament wins and for the big, the esports competitions that they're doing. So it's just a super, let's see, how do I put this? Thorough gamer experience. Like I said, they're not building one game. They're not building a Star Atlas or an Axie. They're building the arcade where all of these games come together. Think about it like Steam or Gala Games, but rather than, making their own games. They're just arranging all the best games from all time. Let me find.
Yeah, it reminds me.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry. I was just there's so much stuff on this
There is
light paper. It kind of remind me of what what Next Earth is doing. They're not creating the metaverse or the game. They're creating a platform that hundreds of thousands or whatever it is, thousands of games, hundreds of thousands of projects can come onto and operate. That it talks about the software development kit that they developed for ArcadeLand, the UI, like making it possible for these projects to onboard into the Web3 simply for the projects and the owners of these games, but also the gamers.
Yeah, they one of the big things is, unlike just a regular launch pad where you can come on and build your game, they do have an SDK, like a no-code builder, and the ability for users to make these mini games. Let me bump this over here. They do have the ability for users to come in here and make these. And then if you make your own game, you can charge people arcade tokens to play. They can win tickets. You split the profit with ArcadeLand.com. It's like you bringing in your own video game, setting it down in the arcade, and then splitting the money with the arcade owner, which is awesome. But it's not just mini games. It's not just Tetris style games or Asteroid style games. They've got, huge major projects. Simpsons is a major title. It was one of the best arcade games of the 1990s. Some of the games that we've seen on there, like Mortal Kombat, or the player versus player fighting games, the racing games, these are huge, well-established games. They're not launching anything. They're just now available. If you said to me, hey, let's go play Cruising America, or let's go play Cruising Exotica. I've always wanted to play that. It's been forever. I don't know how we would even find that. I don't know what video game system it's on. I don't know any real world arcades that have it. It's super difficult. And a lot of these games that have so much of an audience, because of the cost of maintaining real world cabinets and having the actual retail space, it doesn't make sense to have those anymore. And so people who love that game, people who just want to play the original Mortal Kombat, they don't know where to do it. But once ArcadeLand establishes itself as the arcade in the metaverse, you will just know that's where you can go. You can come here. You can see on this infographic that I've got right here, all of this is in their light paper. Oh, can I zoom in on that? Yeah, there we go. Like I said, they're going to accept PayPal. That means you can pay for it with fiat money. That means you can onboard it. You can walk in today and start playing these. They've got NFTs and stuff. Once you're ready to venture over into the Web3 side of the game, you get much more of an experience. What the more advanced users are waiting for is, to get 10 fatalities in a row in Mortal Kombat and win the Mortal Kombat, token metal NFT that you can now put on your avatar and he can wear around when you go to all these other metaverse style projects.
Yeah.
That's
what it's about.
Oh, that's what it's all about is don't think of ArcadeLand as the metaverse and this is where you're going to go. Think about everything else that you're going to do in the metaverse. You're going to work, you're going to do your banking, you're going to do your socializing, and then you're going to jump over to the arcade and you're going to spend, some time with your buddies. You're going to be playing games. You're going to be winning rewards. You're going to be earning tickets. You're going to be spending those tickets. It's just a really, like Ryan said, it's so simple, but there's so much that comes with it. You know what I mean?
One of the projects we covered here lately, the guy said we want our project to be the one that ruins relationships because you're spending so much dang time on there. And I thought, that's terrible, but that completely makes sense. Like, that's essentially what you're going for.
Yeah, or if you're in a situation like me where I'm constantly moving, I'm constantly picking up, moving everything and traveling, stuff like this is the only way you can keep in touch. While the Buffalo Bills might be great at football, my fantasy football record as a manager is terrible, but I still play fantasy football every year because that's one of the few ways I have to keep in touch with my circle of friends, because it's not the game itself, it's the trash talking before and after, it's the hanging out, it's the going, oh my gosh, did you just see that? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, now you'll be able to go into these games, into these virtual arcades, and you're playing with friends, you're hanging out, you're socializing, you get to do the trash talking, you get to win their tickets, you get to win their coin. There's so much more than just gaming in something as simple as a just gaming website.
Yeah. But that's what I like about this project. It is that the idea of it is very simple. Like, you're looking for games, come here. Then it's as dynamic as you want to get from there. Interacting, social, gaming, what games you're playing, or do you want to get paid for it? Do you not? You don't have to connect a digital wallet. Like you said, a lot of this stuff, we've kind of forgotten how cumbersome it was to get set up on some of this Web3 stuff.
And while you're venturing through the light paper, you'll keep seeing all of these different links right here, like their Metaverse headquarters, and anything that's blue here links you to something else. And I will try not to get off on a tangent, but one of the things that I found while I was looking through their white paper is they have the capability for the Ready Player Me avatar, which is the avatar that you can move. It's an NFT that you can use in any of these different Metaverse projects. But we've went over Meta Hero, I think, was the full body one that turns you into an avatar. They have a much simpler one that's just from a photo. You can take a selfie and then you can pick your own body style and do stuff like that. But I thought, that's awesome. Again, imagine playing Mortal Kombat, me versus Ryan, where on the screen, it's me versus Ryan. It's us in there, you know what I mean? Fighting like that. So I thought Ready Player Me, I watched Ready Player One again. I guess it was last week now. I thought it was this week. It's within 7 days. I watched Ready Player One. That is like the end goal, obviously, is to be able to jump in, have your avatar look like whatever you want, go do whatever you want in the metaverse. And a big part of that is going to be gaming. In fact, that'll probably be a lot of people's first experience in the metaverse is gaming. That's the whole goal of ArcadeLand, is onboarding people with just a nice little simple Web 2 style gaming. And then you can say, hey, if you connect a wallet, if you want to connect your MetaMask wallet, you can actually earn an NFT that every time that you come into this game, you get to hold the Mortal Kombat weapon, or you get to hold a specific team jersey. And one of the ways they're going to do that, I'm going to jump off a little bit off gameplay and talk more about the experience. They're going to have like a whole bunch of different ways, not just to earn money in there, but also to kind of figure out what you're doing. Like, they have a program, same as Coinbase. It's called Learn to Earn. And Coinbase does a similar thing where they actually will pay you to come in and take a little class on a certain cryptocurrency. So when Coinbase lists Solana, or lists a new crypto, they say, here, come over here. We'll give you a little lesson. We'll ask you a few questions. If you get it right, we'll send you some Solana. So they're going to have this in the Web3 game. So when you get in there and you're like, okay, I think I'm ready to start dipping my toes into the Web3. I want to see, how do I make a MetaMask wallet? They might have a class on making a even they're like, come over here. It's called Learn to Earn. It's in their Metaverse HQ. You get in there. I don't think I have that one up, but is there? Let me see if there was a
6.2, I think.
6.2.
Oh yeah. There. Under Explorer. ArcadeLand.
HQs, yeah.
I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
No, I was somewhere it talks about the learn to earn. Here we go. Found it. 4.4. So I don't think we mentioned it, but this one's built on Binance, the Binance Smart Chain, not the Ethereum network. That doesn't mean as much as it used to before proof of stake, but it's fast, it's cheap, it'll go quick, and it's very secure. Binance, obviously one of the top competitors of Ethereum. But this learn to earn, that's going to be a huge thing, because when you're ready to start figuring it out, it's not like, okay, now you got to go out of the game again, go on YouTube and find somebody who will explain how to open a MetaMask wallet. These learn to earns are going to start saying, okay, here's a crypto that you can figure out. Here's how to do this. And you can be earning arcade tokens and tickets for doing it, which is, again, it's almost like they're going to teach you Web3, and they're going to trick you in. I mean, like, they're going to lure you in by playing games, and then before you leave, you're going to be like, actually, I did open a MetaMask wallet. I did this, and this. I did get some free crypto. I did have this. And it's like, next thing you know, you're going to be, buying plots of land and all these different Metaverse projects, and you're going to be in, because it's like, that's how they get you. But it's like, it's a fair trade. In order for these projects to really do what the world needs them to do, people have to get in, and have to get in as soon as possible. Imagine the growth of the technology. Imagine the speed of the technology if 3.2 billion people jumped into the industry right now. If you had, once they open this up and the games are available, once people start playing, the more people that are coming in and spending money, the more coders and developers these companies can hire, the faster the projects get done, the more people are allowed to come in, the more people that want to come in. It will just go so fast. So that's why they do something like, that's why you would get paid to learn to earn.
Yeah.
Because you come in and maybe you're paying, whatever an arcade token is, whether it's, a tenth of a cent. I don't know how much it'll be to play these games, but you're coming in and you're doing this. And it's like, yeah, but if you want to come learn about this and open a MetaMask wallet, you might be spending a little bit more, but there's a chance that you could win a little bit too. And if you start winning, and I just think they really talk about not letting, that's not the right word, about you not needing to leave the platform to figure out what you want to do. They're not going, okay, go get a MetaMask wallet and come back. Like, once you get in, they want to keep your attention. They will help you get to the next spot. They will transfer you from a Web 2 gamer to a Web 3 enthusiast, and they will pay you to do it, which is a beautiful thing.
Because they truly believe the blockchain is changing the world, not only because of what it's capable of, but because it's the right thing. It's giving power back to people. It's giving people, impoverished people, opportunities and entertainment along the way. So it just, when you have that belief in something that it's changing the world for the better, it makes it real easy to do so many great things, so many right things, to put your life, blood, sweat, and tears into a project.
Yeah. Before we get into my favorite part, which is the tokenomics, there's like a million more things that I could talk about. Here's some of the rewards for the tickets that you could get, which is all great stuff. But there's like 15 things over here that I kind of want to talk about. But it's like you said, like, I feel like I would just be reading off of it. But like, even like, for winning tickets, they base your gameplay on the gameplay of the 1,000 previous players. So it's not like you have to be an excellent gamer to win these tickets. You know what I mean? Like, if the last 1,000 people, 500 of them got 10 points and 500 of them got 11 points, or let's say 20 points. If you get better than the top half, then maybe you get 5 tickets. And if you get better than the top 25%, then maybe you get 10 tickets. And it's just a really, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell that a lot of thought has been put into this very simple project. It's never the more simple it seems on the outside, the more work it went into to getting it to be a frictionless gaming experience. And that's what they're going for. Unfortunately, we cannot give you a time when they plan on launching it. Hopefully, by this time next week, we'll have a little bit more information. But when it launches, they're expecting it to be an immediate, frictionless entry into gaming and then potentially into Web3. So,
yeah, and along with that, and we really don't know, but we're hoping for the best for this, this insider information, this sneak peek next week, whatever you want to call it. They also have a land portion. They have a land sale that's going to be coming up. Also, I'll let you actually, if you want to go to it, it's like 6.0 or 6 down there.
Yeah.
There's not a ton about the there you go. Not a ton. There's not a ton available about it other than there is going to be a land sale, and go to just above it. Actually click on the Explore ArcadeLand. So there is going to be, it's got this cool map. Right. Yeah.
Look at Time out. Yeah. I purposely didn't look at the land sales because there was so much else going on. I knew if I started going down this road, then I would not pay attention to the stuff that I was supposed to be researching. When I saw this map, I went, oh my gosh. I started looking at it. I was like, no, I can't. Ryan's going to tell me about it. I need to but it looks so cool. They've got Thunderdomes. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for the land sale. I actually can't even wait for you to explain to me what's going on. Tell me all about it.
Well, so like the rest of this project, there's not a ton of information out there because they're laying all the groundwork and they're not getting ahead of themselves. But like a lot of this project, there's going to be massive amounts of opportunities to do different things, to earn, doing different things, to develop your land, to critique and twist and make your land whatever you want to be, whether it's whether it's just an advertisement, whether it's your actual house or place of business or whatever it is you want it to be. They're giving you as a landowner immense amounts of opportunity. And like a lot of these other projects, there's different land sizes. You can buy scroll down. It actually tells you on that one. Keep going. There we go.
Oh yeah. There we
go. 12,350 parcels. You can see the 1x1s are the smallest, which is 20 meter by 20 meter. And there's 10,000.
I believe every game that comes in has to have at least a 1x1.
Yes.
Land part. I mean, no matter how big the game is, no matter how obviously the bigger, the more advertising you get. I think a bigger bit of the revenue sharing.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of benefits that go up, but I think every game, so there's at least 187 1x1 slots that are accounted for, and I'm sure it's only going up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Again, it's going to be an integral part of this project. They don't have a lot of details as to how that's going to be, and they even kind of mentioned that, hey, we don't have a lot out about this, but here's the map. Here's some of the stuff that you're going to be able to do and create income producing opportunities out of. It's the underlying structure of what you want to see for a project that is going to have land be part of its metaverse. So we're hoping maybe that might be, because they've made note in there that it's essentially around the corner. Now, we like to think that means this year, could mean next year. We don't know, but we're hoping next week. We're hoping for a lot. I know we're completely setting ourselves up for failure, but there's just so much to be interested and excited about on this project with what they're laying the groundwork on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was showing you over here. It shows that there's 16 different ways to actually earn money. Land sales is one of them, but like land rental and stuff like that. There are going to be, this appears to be a very thorough project. I mean, absolutely everything that you would want out of your metaverse project, ArcadeLand at least has plans to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure how long it's going to take for them to open up each step of this roadmap, but man, they've got some good details coming out.
All out of simplicity, bringing in classic games I'm not going to repeat it. You said it really well. It's almost like trickery. They're bringing you bringing you in with the classics, introducing you to the new world, the future, the blockchain that's changing everything. And before you know it, your relationships are ruined because all you're doing is playing games. But
No, you just have to talk your wife into coming downstairs and getting on the metaverse and playing Simpsons with you.
Yeah. And that's the thing is our wife actually once this gets far enough and they actually get involved and play a little bit, they will understand. Right now, they think we're just big dorks, but you know, we're not, Ben. We are not dorks. We know what we're doing.
Once I buy one of the 50 24 by 24 plots in this land, and I start making a little bit of money from ArcadeLand, she won't think I'm a dork then.
No more. She'll allow you to play Simpsons all you want from then on.
That's right. I mean, she'll still think I'm a dork, but
that's essentially what's, again, jump on here. It's very thorough. What is available about the land. You can go on and check out the map yourself. More forthcoming.
I love that map, man. It looks so good. Player Academy, the DAO Citadel. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah. It's going to have an autonomous organization, a decentralized autonomous that's going to help direct the games that are coming, the games that are going, how the tickets are distributed. Just some of the names: Fantasyland, Festival Valley. So they're going to have music. Esport Thunderdome. That's going to be like the Illuvium Arena. Player versus Player Badlands, Entertainment Zone, Nightlife District, Whale Islands, Capital District, the Neo Bazaar, which I assume is the shopping area, Mega Mall, which is another one, and then the Launch Zone, which has the lab in it. I mean, I'm just pumped. It just looks good. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm into it. I don't know. I can't explain. I'm just into it. I dig it. Probably because I love arcade games, but
yeah, it had you hooked from day one. Simpsons, arcade games, you were in. Anyways, that's all I've got on land. I'm also very short on time, Ben. You've kind of hit on the tokenomics. Do you want to say any more about that, or any parting thoughts, or what do you got?
What kind of time do you have?
Like 2 to 3 minutes. So go.
Okay. All right. Well, first thing, it's going to be a dual token economy. A lot of the projects are. We've got the governance token and then the in-game token. The tickets, one of the beautiful things about the tickets is you spend a certain amount of money, you get a certain amount of tickets. The price of the games that you're playing with the tickets doesn't change. Or maybe that's the arcade tokens, vice versa. So if you buy $20 worth and you know, let's say that gets you 20 games. If all of a sudden the price dips or falls out or goes way up, it doesn't change once it's in the game what you're able to play. That way, you don't go in and buy 20 tickets and then at the price drop, now you can only afford to play one game. They're very good about keeping that nice and stable so you'll be able to buy your way in to play these games. But the governance token is called the arcade token. That's the big one. 10 billion maximum supply. It is deflationary. DAO's going to be in charge of it. It'll have staking rewards. The tickets are the ones that are the in-game that you'll be able to earn when you're playing the games. You'll be able to cash those in for chances at the sweepstakes. You'll be getting the prizes, you know, the real world and the digital prizes. Neither of these are listed yet. I looked all over CoinMarketCap. There's a couple of different arcade themed ones, but not specifically this one. So if you think you're buying it right now, if you think you are, send me a message or comment on here because I'll go look at it. But I don't think that they're out yet. Hopefully, again, sometime soon we're going to figure out when the ICOs on these are. We like this project. I like this project. All right. Like Ryan had alluded to earlier in the episode, he actually made contact with the CEO of ArcadeLand who lives nearby. He's going to be in town next week. There's a chance I could meet with him. We haven't got it settled yet, but we're trying to arrange a little bit of a meeting, perhaps a quick interview where we can pick his brain. If that happens, we'll have 2 episodes next week, basically an ArcadeLand update video with his interview on there. And then the next one will be the Shibaverse. That's what we're going to be doing our next project report on. So here's a trailer for the Shibaverse, next week's episode.